How do you counter Freya, and what do you do when the enemy snowballs early? As you can see, it's still 8 minutes in, but our outer turret has already been destroyed here in the top lane. So here's the draft, and we are playing at 2 AM in the morning, hoping to get a stable connection this time, because MINSITTHAR's hardest counter isn't a hero, it's a poor internet connection. And Freya is very strong this season, and her ultimate counter is clearly the king. That's why our roamer picked him, but we went with Kufra, planning for a hero swap. I'm glad our teammate agreed and trusted us to play the king in the EXP lane. If I'm not mistaken, I've already shared a guide on how to lane against Freya, but for those who are new to the channel, MINSITTHAR's passive is called Mark of the King. If you successfully apply all 5 stacks, your next attack will deal 400 plus 6% of your total HP as physical damage. And it doesn't stop there, because it also applies a stun and provides a heal. While she's stunned, make sure to land a few basic attacks, then disengage so she can't trade damage back. Winning the EXP lane is all about knowing your power spike. There are heroes you can duel toe-to-toe even in the early game, but heroes like Freya should always be handled with caution. That's why your priority during this stage is to safely reach level 4, so just simply avoid risky plays. We also have to commend Freya for knowing her power spike. She quickly cleared the minions to reach level 4 faster and be ready for the turtle fight. And look at her, she's already making a significant impact for her team in the mid lane. And Kufra is also an effective counter against Freya, as he can limit her from using her second skill. But in order to successfully take down Freya, you need enough burst damage to eliminate her quickly before she gets the chance to turn the fight around. Notice how we waited and hid in the bush, because MINSITTHAR is a nightmare for Freya, but you need to master your positioning to make this work. And here's a tip, move farther away while you are attacking her. You see, if you manage to hit your enemy in this area, they will only receive slow. But remember, enemies hit at the tip of the spear will get a bonus stun, so if you just stay in the center, you will miss that crucial stun. Now, based on the enemy's rotations and decision making, I can tell they are really good players. The enemy jungler, knowing that our Yishinshin got taken down, grabs the opportunity to invade our orange buff. And they didn't stop there, they also denied our purple buff. There's nothing much we can do at this point, but to simply watch our teammates get destroyed. And MINSITTHAR really struggles with mobility, and yes, we really want to help our teammates, but my tip is just to stay in your lane, especially if your ultimate isn't ready yet, because instead of helping, you might just make things worse. Take note, if you're facing a high damage scaling hero like Freya, I don't recommend doing the EXP gambit rotation. Your main goal is to slow her down before she becomes unstoppable. As her lane opponent, it's your responsibility to prevent her from reaching her full potential and power spike. I'm glad our jungler decided to visit our lane. Most of the time, the gold lane should be the priority, but if you're the jungler and the EXP laner has a better chance of punishing and locking down the enemy, just like MINSITTHAR, so rotating to the EXP lane is a smart move to help you get a snowball. Because personally, if I'm the jungler, I usually plan my rotation heading to the most vulnerable lane, regardless if it's the gold or the EXP lane. I don't usually consider on where the first turtle will spawn, since river currents give you movement speed to arrive in the turtle pit just in time. Don't worry, in the next videos, I'll share a jungle guide, especially if you're just playing in solo ranked game. The enemies are still playing very aggressively, but make sure to punish this risky move when you get the chance. Then, just back off and wait for your skills to be ready before committing to another fight. MINSITTHAR's damage may still not enough during this stage, but with your ultimate, you gain a significant advantage. However, we got stunned for a while, so our ultimate landed late. We could have easily taken down Freya and survived if we were just able to land our ultimate in time. And look at that, even their gold laner is actively participating in the early team fight. That shows how confident and dominant they were in this game. Meanwhile, our Ixia is doing a great job taking advantage of this to secure some turret gold in the top lane. After that, we swapped lanes, and the enemies clearly have the gold lead. So your goal now is to avoid unnecessary team fights and focus on farming. Don't overcommit just yet. That's exactly what the enemies want, a team fight. With the gold lead, they have enough items and damage to wipe us out, so don't play by their rules. Just look at how much damage their mage can already deal at this point. And that's only their mage, so it looks like we don't have a chance to make a comeback. But here's the thing though, the enemies are starting to brag. Well, for those who don't know me yet, I'm Checkmate, and we don't let this kind of behavior slide in our eyes. Now is not the time to celebrate, because it's very important that after a successful shutdown, it's crucial to capitalize by farming minions and creeps in order to catch up in gold. Since we managed to put pressure on the top lane just before the Lord respawns, you can expect the enemy to defend in order to balance the flow of the minions. So just patiently wait and catch the defending enemy. Don't worry, the expanding river will help you get in the Lord dance just in time, and I'll try to minimize the cuts as much as possible so you can follow along and see how I make decisions in the game. But take note, your decision making should depend on whether you're playing solo ranked or with a squad. Take this situation as an example. We managed to land our hook on 2 enemies, which looks good since Yishinshin is nearby, and he also has his ultimate ready. However, playing with a random means you'll struggle with communication and coordination. It's not that you have bad teammates, it's simply because your team lacks coordinated and organized play. If you look at our draft, we actually have a solid lineup, but we're just strangers trying to read each other's playstyle. Unlike playing with your regular squad, where you know how your teammates move and make decisions, playing with randoms is way different. Now here, if you decide to reveal and clear the minion waves, make sure to watch the map closely and start using the counting method. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all 4 damage dealers are visible on the map, and Camilla is the only one missing. So technically, you're safe to clear the minions for now. But here's the crucial part, the map has expanding rivers, which let enemies quickly rotate and punish you. So before they do, make a prophylactic move and recall. But keep observing and watch the map closely, because if the enemies ignore the top lane wave, cancel your recall and continue your plan to push and apply pressure here in the top lane, because MINSITTHAR, when left unattended, can quickly clear waves and take down towers. And don't worry too much since your tower still has the blessing. So while the enemies are busy with your teammates, take that opportunity to burst down their lord immediately. And I know there's a risk of getting taken down in the process, but once MINSITTHAR has his core items, it's very unlikely that you will get taken down without bringing one enemy with you. So don't be afraid, stay confident. Just let them come if they want, and prepare your ultimate if they they decided to engage. In case you didn't notice, our teammates did a great job preventing the enemies from recalling to base, and they even took down the enemy gold laner. This gave us more than enough time to burst down the Lord. Then Suyu arrives to stop us, but our main priority is to secure the Lord first. After that, we can turn and take him down if we have the chance. We also need to respect the Lord's damage, so we look for creeps to recover HP. Even though Demon Hunter Sword received a slight nerf, it still provides decent sustain, just not as strong as before. Then Suyu confidently dives in, but here's the thing, MINSITTHAR doesn't rely entirely on his ultimate, since most of his damage comes from his basic attacks. Diving the king just because he doesn't have his ultimate is definitely a bad move. And always keep an eye on the map and go back with the counting method, because reading the enemy's next move becomes very simple when you're aware of their positions, and not only the positions of the heroes but the positions of the minions as well. Then we all just pretend we didn't see that hook coming out of nowhere. Make sure not to do that in your games, because MINSITTHAR's skill 1 has a long cooldown. And this is what I told you earlier, if you pay close attention to the position of the minions, you can easily predict where the enemies should be, because minions are like magnets that attract enemies. And as I always remind, maintain element of surprise so the enemies have no time to react. And if your enemy has a dash skill, like Irithel's ultimate, go for the ultimate plus flicker combo immediately. This is a much safer approach than relying on your hook. And stay disciplined and avoid committing to another team fight without your ultimate. With the Lord spawning in the top lane in 30 seconds, your goal now is to apply pressure here in the bottom lane. Notice that Irithel will spawn in less than 10 seconds. So what we want to do is trick her into thinking we're already rotating toward the Lord pit. And we can do this by hiding in the bush and letting our minions handle the push. And yes, this is actually how you prepare for the King's Trap. However, since our flicker isn't available, so King's Trap is not possible. So what we will do here is we need to try to find the nearest bush to hide and caught this Irithel off guard. Unfortunately, she spotted us just in time. So we quickly clear the minions since we now plan to help our teammates secure the Lord. Meanwhile, our teammates managed to find a window and secure a clean takedown on the enemy roamer. This is actually a good start. And if you look at my teammates' HP, they're still full, so technically we have the advantage. But somehow, the enemies managed to turn the fight around even without their Carmilla. There were some miscalculations and overcommitment there, but that's totally fine. Our teammates have already done their part, and even though we're a bit late, our presence was never too late to make an impact. The enemies also made a mistake by overcommitting, just like this Suyu. And look at how easily we burst down the Lord. That's why the king can create miracles in the game. He provides everything you need in one hero: damage, crowd control, off-map pressure, and a strong defense. Now, this is the most common mistake players make. After securing the Lord, they overextend and look for another team fight instead of playing it safe and just wait for the Lord. Although yes, it can be a smart move especially if you have the higher chance that you can take down the enemies, but 90% of the time, your teammates end up getting the one who are punished. As a result, the Lord will end up being wasted, because enemies can now effortlessly defend it. Now, Sprint can be a good battle spell against MINSITTHAR, but only in the early game, because you see, in the late game, MINSITTHAR's attack speed is faster than your movement speed, so Sprint isn't actually an effective counter, especially if you're a squishy hero. But it does help too, you just have to be careful in the late game when using this battle spell. Since this is a MINSITTHAR video, it's finally time to use the King's Trap. If you're new to the channel, most of my MINSITTHAR videos feature the King's Trap, so get used to it. The idea is simple, use the minions as bait, then strike quickly to take down the defending enemy. And yes, for some reason we weren't able to press our flicker. Our thumb just probably landed in the wrong spot. And that's a big blunder. But you see, mistakes happen. But the real question is, how do you turn that mistake into an opportunity? Here, we still have our ultimate and flicker, which are key to making an epic outplay. So again, stay relaxed and don't panic in situations like this. You are the king, so stay confident and fearless. Immediately calculate the best move, and execute the plan as soon as you're done visualizing it in your head, just like playing chess. But at the end of the day, we are only human, and I am no longer in my prime. My mind can still calculate the best moves ahead, but sometimes my fingers cannot keep up with the speed of those calculations. Even though we were taken down in that moment, our objective of pushing the top lane inhibitor was still successful. Now we simply apply the strategies I mentioned earlier, and I really thought this is just a 1v1 situation since our gold laner has already been revealed in the mid lane, which should have drawn more enemies toward that area. But enemies made a smart decision by shifting their focus to me instead. Now the problem here is that, we already aimed our second skill to Suyu, so we have no choice but to fully commit everything we've got towards him. It would have been better if we managed to take care of Irithel first, since Suyu can't do much anything inside the king's calling. But we already released our second skill before we noticed Irithel. At the same time, my teammates are also making miracle plays to save this game, so let's see how they will handle the rest of the enemies, because this game is still very much even, as both teams have only managed to destroy one inhibitor turret. Just look at that, nobody wants to lose. Everyone is trying their best to win, each with their own way of playing this game. That's why I really respect and appreciate solo ranked players, because they are the most creative players with lots of strategies just to win a single game. Since our teammates nearly wiped out the enemies, it's a free Lord obviously. However, Suyu still tried to contest it, so we not only secured the Lord but also managed to take him down. Now fast forward, since I don't have much time anymore to finish editing this video, yes, Yishinshin got taken down right after we secured the Lord, which was the common mistake we've mentioned earlier among players. So as much as I wanted to end the game, but we are not complete, so the enemies now have the chance to defend the Lord effortlessly again. But that's okay. The main goal now is to focus on destroying all the inhibitor towers first, which will create super minions in every lane. This gives you better map control and a big advantage for the upcoming Lord dance. Notice here that we stay at a safe distance and patiently wait for the minions, just looking for the right moment to clear them. We have to do this carefully and slowly, because at this point we already have the advantage, so we just simply need to maintain and keep that going, while avoiding the risk of being taken down. And one important tip in the late game is not to be choosy about who you target. Even taking down a single enemy, like their roamer, can be a huge advantage for your team. However, I made a blunder here because I hesitated to use my full combo on Carmilla. I decided to cancel the King's Calling, but later realized I should have just committed. By then, it was too late, giving the enemy the perfect chance to react and counterattack. That's why it's important to avoid mistakes like that. Don't hesitate to commit your full combo to a single hero. We changed our plan to only use skill 2 instead of the ultimate on Carmilla, since King's Calling is what would stop Freya. That small hesitation was very crucial and almost cost us the game. But anyways, just look at how Kufra effectively counters Freya, because Freya could have easily pulled off an epic outplay again, but Kufra managed to stop her 3 times. We really have great teammates, because imagine during the draft, our roamer could have refused to swap heroes, but he chose to adjust and hand over MINSITTHAR to us. And we have to commend players like that. Because he trusted us, we made sure not to disappoint him using this king, so we had to make it count. Unfortunately, we arrived late to the Lord contest, and to make things worse, Yishinshin, one of our main wave clearers, was already taken down. The Lord is already enhanced, so we need to focus on taking it down and buying enough time for our teammates to respawn, even if it means putting ourselves at risk of being taken down again. We need to draw the attention of as many enemies as possible, forcing them to focus on us. This way, the rest of our teammates can safely handle the minion waves in the other lanes, because we have to protect our inhibitor turrets in the mid and top lanes because they are our key advantage. It's very important that we keep them standing, so we must defend them at all costs to maintain control of the map. Just look at Kufra, even moving to the top lane to stop a potential push from Suyo. I'm glad my teammates understand the importance of inhibitor turrets, and with that, our team managed to defend the Lord without losing our mid and top lane turrets. Now the Lord will spawn in 30 seconds, so it's very important to eliminate even a single enemy, and Freya happens to reveal herself. So without any hesitation, we take her down immediately. Then while waiting for our ultimate to reset, we move to the top lane to apply some pressure, because we can just immediately go down and provide backup to our teammates with the help of the expanding river. And this is a common scenario with random teammates. There's no organized or coordinated play. Everyone just goes for whichever enemy hero they see, instead of sticking together and prioritize the same target. But anyway, let's see how my teammates handle this messy skirmish. And yes, our Yishinshin just got taken down. But don't blink, keep your eyes on our gold laner. Did you see that? Here's a replay in case you missed it. Vale flickers in and already thought he had her, but Ixia anticipated his plan and perfectly dodged that move. Meanwhile, we decided to stay in the top lane instead of helping. Let's grab this opportunity to attempt a backdoor play while enemies are busy with Ixia. But look at that, Ixia may have struggled in the early to mid game, but remember, it doesn't matter how you start, what truly matters is how you finish. That's why it's really important to never give up. This game shows that our team had a rough start, especially Ixia. And yes, as what you have observed, we made a lot of blunders in this game, but that's okay. When you stumble, don't stay down, get back up and keep going. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Be afraid of not learning from them, because in the end, you don't really lose, you just learn. Every blunder you make is part of the journey to becoming a better player. Losing or failing doesn't break you. It teaches you, makes you stronger, and helps you play better next time. So don't stress too much in your games. Just like our Valier did in this match. Just always stay calm and stay relaxed. And if you lose, that's completely okay. Win rates and stars don't define who you are. What matters is learning and growing every game, and more importantly you are enjoying and having fun. And once again this is Checkmate. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss our next guide.